pulled off fairly well, but there are still definitely a lot of cons to it, which make it so that that's not usually where you would put the hero, right? It's very all in. Once you go in, once you get that execute, how do you get out, right? And you're not tanky the same way too.
But you can see how it's just very hard, even the conditions, to pick the Lucas jungle. Because once they pick up the Lucas jungle, they got to pick up a counter. They got to pick up the Phobius away. Because Aran can play the Phobius too. It was still up for grabs. And now, you actually do see the Phobius get banned out by Liquid ID, which means there might be an angle to go for a Lucas and the XP, but I would say even the Joy... No, okay, it was banned out. All right. Good setup, though, with the Phobius ban for the Joy. Granger should still probably be the first pick here for Liquid ID.
Yeah, I was wondering if they would pick the Granger or the Loyi in this case, just to play Flash at their own game, but Granger going to be the pick. And Flash instantly locks in the Hilda and Loyi. They banned the Hilda themselves in game number 1.
There's so much respect from Flash SG towards Liquid ID with the Hilda. It was banned and now it's picked away, but I really feel like they should have just played their game here. Maybe pick up a Suyo, a jungle that does well against the Hilda anyways, you know? Because Liquid ID now, I was thinking about a possible Mathilda Alpha combination to deal with the Hilda, but they just go with the Suyo plus Novaria again. This time, it won't really be as scary with a Hilda jumping in, but okay, Lucas still Flash SG. Want to double down on the Lucas jungle.
It's not a bad time to pick a Lucas because at the hero that you pick in this slot, you can immediately ban counters to it, right? So if this is not a jungle Lucas, maybe they put it in EXP this time, then they can get rid of heroes like the CC or the Valentina, which we sometimes see people go just to cheese out the hero. But
do we think Hilda is still a good roamer?
Definitely not as good as before. Still effective, but now with a very limited timing. You have to mess with the enemy jungle in the first couple minutes, and if you don't successfully do that, you lose a lot of your value.
But with the ban on the blue, though, it kind of really just suggests that they want to get the priority with the Hilda in EXP.
Yeah, they definitely do. They don't want a glue to be holding her off from actually invading, getting pressure on the map, and it will be the Irithel ban. And again, this is usually the answer to a Granger first pick. You usually see the Irithel picked up straight off the bat on the red side. So with the Irithel ban out together with the Harith, the gold lane's going to be a bit tough, right? I personally can't think of a hero right now. Maybe if you want to dive in, the Claude could do well against the Granger and Novaria, but you need to play the laning phase really, really well. Good Badang ban though from Flash SG. Something we were thinking about in game 1, but didn't really get to see. We do get to see the ban here, respecting Aran, who has played a few Badang games.
I am of mixed feelings because I would love to see a Badang being played, but I would also be terrified to see a Badang being played just because of how much he has been terrifying the pub scene recently, right? So powerful with the cooldown build that we are seeing nowadays, but
it's broken.
Flash just don't want to deal with that. Especially when you have Hilda and Lucas, if they get locked down, they don't have a lot of ways of getting out.
So many ways to disengage. I think that's what makes Badang really, really good, right? You lock down a lot of the engage potential from the enemy team. And if you guys don't know, Badang can stack up the Thunderbelt with just skill 1. Every skill 1 gets you a proc. It gets you a stack. It's busted. You get to see like 50, 60 stack Badang on average per game. Cho for Flash SG. This is something the Abstract already brought up to us actually before the game even started. JPL loves the screening type of heroes. He wants to just spy on the enemy team, get the positions, and inform the team again that, yeah, they're here. Do we want to go for the pickoff, or do we want to chill?
It's kind of like a thing for Flash, right? Whenever they lose the game, or rather they are on match point, they just be like, okay, let's just play what we are very good at. And that was when the Benedetta appeared on the Diablo. That is when we've got literally them playing whatever that they want. Even to the point that Katizi plays the Martyrs in the middle lane.
So what's Bongski's signature pick? That's the question now.
Yeah, that's what we want to see, right? These are new faces being added to Flash, but Team Liquid are just sticking with the basics. This is effectively the same build from before with the single change of the high-lows, and looks like that is going to be a Claude. So Flash definitely going for the comfort style of play, but I'm not sure if that's enough actually.
Yeah, I think they definitely had a better draft in game number 1 compared to game number 2, in my opinion, right? And it's just because of the Claude here. The Irithel provides so much more damage earlier, so much more threat earlier towards the Granger as well. Meanwhile, for Team Liquid ID here, it does seem like Granger should have a better time in lane against the Claude. but the Cho will be concerning. And I think the big question will be, will Aaron and Yehezkiel still gamble it out to bring a flicker? Or do they go Purify to respect that Cho?
Typically, when I look at the show, I will always just be thinking, is there anyone that can really make full use of that single target knockout, right? Or rather, in this case, it would be that Hilda. But let's not forget about the fact that we do have got a Lucas that played damage, and he can burst people down. So perhaps that is going to be another one of the heroes that we can expect making full use of the Way of the Dragon. Here we go, game number 2. Let's go.
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is match point for Team Liquid ID. The Young Stallions up against a very new Flash SG roster with Ken and Bongski in the mix. This time with the Claude together with Still, the double down on the Lucas jungle. Will they take game 2? Or will Fabian get a little bit of a cheeky poke? Whoa! Ooh, that's a lot of damage!
Really is a lot of damage, and it really highlights how much siege potential these heroes have on Team Liquid. It's not just the Granger and the Novaria, you even have the Evil Quelling coming in from the Suyo. You cannot afford to overextend yourself too dangerously, especially since now you really cannot afford to lose that early game advantage.
The Queller. Player emblems, here it is. It's the same, right? Nothing really changing here. Tenacity and firmness from Aaron Shiki. And we do get our answers to the questions that we asked earlier for Aaron Shiki and Yehezkiel. Do they go for Purify, safer, or do they gamble with the Flicker and just react to the plays from Flash? They will go for Flicker. They will try to just dodge away and space out from these pick-off attempts of Flash SG.
The one big difference between Flash's draft in Game 1 and 2 is that this composition lets them dive the backline more easily. The previous comp was very 5-man front to back, but now JPL gonna get thrown over the Fabian, and ooh, the Star Shatter barely missing. JPL gonna escape for now.
Yeah, well, much more comfortable, it seems, TLID in the early game this time around compared to the previous one, where Flash SG had a lot of tanky members to play around. And that's, I guess, the negative of having a draft like this compared to the previous one, right? We already outlined the positives there, having ways to dive in, but now turtle control is kind of non-existent with the Jawhead and the Hylos, and especially the underrated wave clear of the Novaria.
Yeah, you are sometimes surprised by how quickly Yehezkiel is able to clear up that mid lane and immediately start rotating over. The Astral Echo provides you a lot of vision, so JPL has it a lot more difficult to try and dive into the backline because there's always going to be some vision control on the Liquid side. So Kurtizi really needs to pull off some strong diversion plays this game.
And now it's back to the farming game. It looks like Team Liquid ID, they're not going to respond the same way that they did in game number 1. Game number 1, the response for TLID against a very brawly composition of Flash SG was, let's fight it out. Sure, you want to brawl? We can brawl. This time it's like, you want to brawl? Nah, we got the neutral objective. We have the win condition already placed down, which is scale up to mid game. We can wait for the Novaria and the Granger. We can outscale you. And again, this time there's no Earthel, so there's no real way of like, there's not a big power spike anymore for the gold lane. It's just Kurtizi and Hades that they have to rely on for damage in the mid game.
Ooh, JPL looking for Fabian but not able to find it. That was a diversion committed in the mid lane too.
Whoa.
And Subtle Force onto Kurt, flicker away, but in the meantime, Yehezkiel gonna be jumped on by Hades. Glorious Pathway comes in from Aran from the bot side, now targeting Ken, but Witty going to end up falling as first blood to Kurtizi. And Fabian even having to dash away from Hades. A small win in the beginning here for Flash.
Good flicker from Kurtizi, really just isolating Witty and stopping the pick-off potential of that Jawhead, giving Flash SG an angle of an attack towards the backline. Yehezkiel compromised. Hades took control with the Lucas, and now it sets up perfectly for turtle number 2. It's just TLID, can they punish some of these already missing resources? And remember, no flicker from Kurtizi, but Witty still has that flicker. So possible pick-offs as the Granger makes his way into the turtle as well.
We can see 4 members of Liquid around the turtle pit. JPL gonna be scouting out, gets stunned by Aran, but looks like Flash doesn't want to contest this. They're not quite in position for it, so they'll give it over to Liquid.
From Brawl to Boar, right? It's time for Team Liquid ID to try to bore Flash SG out. If you want to go for the brawls, we'll just farm. We'll play the macro game, just split it up. But a diversion will try to make it tougher, I guess, but Yeah, I don't know if they can even take that risk. They can't go for the crazy flanks just yet, knowing that Team Liquid ID, if they read it out, could punish very easily with Astral Echo.
Yeah, it seems like Flash is leaning completely into a more comfort style of play. Take it slow, play around vision, even using the diversion for rotations instead of pickoffs. JPL misses the kick, wrong direction, so Witty is perfectly fine here. And Liquid continuing to just farm around the map, taking advantage of Flash's passiveness.
There's such an annoying playstyle to deal with here, man. The pokes constantly with the Astral Echo. And so far, this has been without the Granger. It's just been the Queller of Fabian and Yehezkiel with the Star Shatter. Once the Rhapsody, once he gets enough stacks and the Rhapsody comes in, the Death Sonata as well, it'll be even tougher for Flash SG to deal with this, and you can already see the builds coming in as well. Sky Piercer done. Aran holding Ken down, and they're trying to just zone them away off the turret to utilize this range to siege that turret up top. It's going to be traded for the bottom one.
Yeah, Flash losing on that early game advantage that they were hoping to get with this Hilda is really not a good sign, especially since Aaron already has a 1k gold lead over Bongski, despite not much happening in the goal lane. Liquid are just out macroing their opponents. Ejector onto Ken. Diversion comes in though. JPL looking for the kick, going to find Witty. Wrong direction again as Aaron survives the Grabway, and a beautiful set of damage done by Fabian. Picks off Ken. Aran even walks out scot-free.
Oh, I cannot believe Aran made it out of there. He was literally in the thick of it. Pops in the Revitalize, gets away with the glorious pathway. Flash SG, that was a disaster. The diversion punish with the Astral Echo, we saw that though from TLID. Once those hitboxes are enhanced and once you have vision of every single member, this Loi kind of becomes quite easy to deal with. And TLID again with control. JPL goes for the kick, but it's only on Aran.
Yeah, and they don't have enough damage yet. Ejector onto Ken as well, just to toss him aside. Aran totally fine, just standing in his own pathway, healing up. Fabian secures the turtle easily. And Flash already knows they cannot continue. Liquid just walking away with more and more after every skirmish.
I think it's time to try to deep dive into the laning phase of the Claude and the Granger, right? Because this is something that I already mentioned earlier. Not picking up the Irithel, hold up, Witty with the conceal in the bottom lane. Oh, gets the flank!
Yep, Ejector throws Hades right in front of Aaron Shiki. That's a nice delivery right there, and Aaron Shiki will appreciate that. First kill for the Granger, first of many, as Flash are not looking good.
Yikes. Aaron with a BOD. And I believe this is his third item, so he didn't go for the Malefic Roar build like he did previously. Again, Astral Echo. And this time there's a Death Sonata Rhapsody over to JPL.
He's gonna have to dash out of this. Glorious pathway used just to zone Flash away from the tower and taken so easily. Like you mentioned, Marco, 3 items done on Aaron before the 8-minute mark.
Yeah.
This is just a terrible situation for Flash Singapore. Diversion comes in, but Aaron flickers away. Gonna be jumped on by the Hilda, and Curtisi follows with Flicker. They finally pick off the Granger, but the rest of them are scattered. Fabian misses the Blade Surge, but JPL gets the kick onto the Suyo, right into Bongski. Fabian is picked off as Flash finally finds the trades they wanted.
That was the flank that they were looking for the entire game with the diversion. And finally, as Team Liquid ID have gotten turrets, it leaves an angle of attack for Flash SG to claim some more bushes, to diversion into, you know, again, bushes that you might not predict for them to be in. Good maneuver by Flash SG, and now they gotta try to somehow take back control of the game. But unfortunately for them, there's no neutral objective up, and there are no trades on the board. There are no objectives to take. Yes, a structure up top, tier 1, but the mid lane is still free. Diversion there, just to scout things out. TLID spotted it and will stop Flash SG's attempt of going for another flank. And Aran will continue to just screen. Look for Flash SG. Get information, whether or not they are still there, or if they're looking for a diversion. TLID are quick with it. They are trying to blitz it.
They're blitzing it, but here comes Hades, pushes Fabian away. He dodges it with the iframes, goes for the Lord, gets picked off by Curtisi. Aaron Shiki trades for Hades though. The Lord is 50-50, and it is stolen by JPL. As now Bongski jumps in with Blazing Duet. Team Liquid are low. They've already lost 2. Aran, the next one on the menu. But a nice Star Shatter will keep JPL from chasing.
Wow, great engage from Hades, jumping in, and again, Fabian caught off guard. This is the full damage build that we were talking about that really gets your mind twisted. You don't expect the Lucas to be dealing that much damage. Yes, you expect him to deal damage, but not that much. The Suyo was bursted. This is the most complete hero in the game. The guy who can take a lot of damage while also dishing out damage, but he cannot take the damage of a full damage Hades with Lucas. That was ridiculous. He walked in and took a third of Fabian's HP.
Yeah, I think if we consider the future collab upcoming, I think it's very classic for Sasuke to be surprised by what Naruto can do as JPL comes in, gets the wrong kick on the Yehezkiel instead, and bites the bullet for it.
The way of the dragon. He got the Jikundo over to Aaron Shiki, but Yehezkiel was lower HP, so the auto target went to Yehezkiel. Hey, it happens to the best of us, man. You know, it happens to all of us. And here in the mid lane, it does seem like they will still be able to dish out. Wait, there's a
bot lane.
Bot lane, Lucas just going and hammering down the turret. Novaria sent down, Ran very low, Ken chasing.
Yep, Ken wants that kill. The Hilux is so low, but not able to finish him off. Revitalized, tops him up in time. And now Ken being sniped from afar. Fabian from the back line, who's surfing them once again. Aerochiki! Oh, I thought he would survive, but he was finished off by the Blazing Duet as Fabian jumps in, gets one. Bongski gonna be traded. Double kill for the Suyo.
Lucas is still in the base. Hades gonna be compromised. Bad position. Now, an Astral Echo.
Yep, they're gonna chase him down, but look at the regen. He's gonna push back Aran and spit in his face as the diversion brings in JPL and Curtizi. Fabian, does he want to go for more? Looks like the answer is no.
All right. Both teams stabilized, but it's great for Flash SG. Liquid ID's lead in a Flash has disappeared. Flash SG have brawled themselves into a win against the Brawl Server Kings.
Team Liquid, they're a strong opponent, but they still make some of these classic mistakes. They love their brawling a bit too much. And it's good to have confidence in your micro abilities, but they can cost you heavily. All the lead that they gained until now evaporated in an instant. The massive gold advantage that Aaron had in the beginning now is a measly 700 as Bongski is keeping up on this Claude.
The problem has yet to come. Now the Wind of Nature is coming in.
A Subtle Force throws JPL back, flickers away, Glorious Pathway comes out, he's trapped, Aaron snipes him down. Flicker from Curtizi will make sure JPL is the only victim.
Just as you think Flash SG have taken back control of the game, they get picked off, a diversion into the back, but now it's
That's a risky one! They dive straight into Team Liquid. Winter Crown gonna keep Fabian alive. Bongski tries to jump forward. Blazing Duet wasted.
Oh no.
Fabian just runs away. Winnie just buying time as now Aaron has a free kill. Wind of Nature won't save you for long, my friend. Killing spree for Aaron. And even Aran picking up. Oh, they wipe them out in the mid lane.
JPL spawns in right after that wipeout. TLID. You can see why Fabian went for the rush onto the Winter Crown. I believe that was his 4th item. So instead of going for damage, instead of going for like an immortality, he goes for the Winter Crown, knowing that Flash SG happened the ones to make these surprising plays. So pops into Winter Crown, baits out everybody, and gives TLID an angle of attack.
Lane Surge connects, Ken melts in an instant, and Aaron with the mega kill snipes him in the backline. JPL, the only survivor. Never mind, he's gone instantly, and so are Flash Singapore's chances as Team Liquid Indonesia sweeps the floor with the Singaporean representatives.
A tough pill to swallow for Flash. 2 games where they were able to hold back control, to gain back the control that they lost so early in the game. They lost it again. The team fights have been good, but for some reason it just feels like the young Stallions have that dog in him, or should I